Hi there guys, I'm Renee. I'm the owner and artist behind Chicly Reclaimed Decor, and I am also a member of Couture's creative team. And welcome back to the Couture YouTube channel and another tutorial. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how I created these unique eco resin trinket trays. We'll be going over just how easy it is to use their pure concentrated colored pigments, as well as how versatile their glass glitters and line of perfect pigments fine mica powders are. So if that is something you're interested in learning, guys, stick around because that's what we're going over today. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Couture Paint YouTube channel. Before you begin, it's extremely important to make sure that the surface that you'll be pouring on is level. As you can see, I've already done that. And I'm going to be using this little silicone mold. I got this guy off of Amazon. And I'm going to be using Couture's Perfect Pigments to create this texture and geode crystal inspired design. This is Harvest Gold, and as you can see here, it is a very heavily pigmented metallic mica powder. And I'm going to be sprinkling this in a diagonal style pattern. Keep in mind when sprinkling this powder that the thicker you lay it down, the more texture there will be in your finished design. I'm going for a very organic look here, similar to a geode. When you look inside, there's usually veins of a variety of colors, and there's also crystals. Also keep in mind, the side that's facing you right now is actually going to end up being the bottom of your jewelry tray. So any design that you create will be flipped on your finished eco cast resin piece. Next up, I'm going to be using silver lace. This is an absolutely beautiful white metallic mica powder. It looks like magical snowflakes if they were all crushed up. And one thing that's also nice to know about these metallic mica powders is that you can mix these with a high gloss top coat to make your own metallic paint. Which I love to do. I like to do that with their bronze pigment powder, especially when I'm doing a patina effect. So that's something that these powders can be used for as well. So they're extremely versatile. And as you can see, I'm taking this powder and I'm sprinkling it on either side of that gold that we have laid down earlier. Next up, I'm going to be using Silver Galaxy. This is a smoky type color. And same thing, it has that beautiful metallic pigment to it. The really fun thing about this project is it's very beginner friendly. There is no right or wrong way to lay these powders down. You can choose whatever colors or patterns you would like. Now that our perfect pigment powders are all laid down, I'm going to start working with the glass glitter. This is Couture's sheer glass glitter. Again, this just reminds me of snow at night. If you have a flashlight on it, it just seems to glitter and shine. And I'm just going to sprinkle this glass glitter on either side of the powders that we have down. Now I'm going to take this large irregular gold crushed glass that I got off of Amazon, and I'm going to sprinkle it on top of the powder that we have down, and again on either side, right and left. I'm also being certain to sprinkle some in that little rim on this tray as well. It's important to note that I laid down my powders first before I began laying down my crushed glass. And I'm specifically making sure to add this crushed glass on top of the mica powders that we added earlier. So the powders are not only adding color, but they're also being used as a sort of resist for this eco resin. So basically, when I pour my eco resin over top of this design, not all of the powder is going to be absorbed. In fact, later on, after this has all cured, I'm going to be coming back and removing any excess mica powder that's left over to reveal not only the texture, but this crushed glass as well. By adding your glass last, gosh, that's a tongue twister, but by doing that, you're ensuring that this glass is going to securely embed into your eco resin. And this is an up close look at the design that we have down. And next up, we're going to be mixing up our eco resin. I'm going to be using Set in Stone. Like I said, this is a non-toxic, no VOCs, water-based eco resin. And it is mixed with water by weight, 1 part water to 3 parts powder. And we're going to be using Couture's pure concentrated pigments in the color blue and black to color this eco resin. Make sure to thoroughly shake this product before you begin. And as you can see, I have a little cheat sheet because, like I said, this product is measured by weight. So you're going to need a scale. I'm going to put my cup that I'm going to be measuring my product into onto my scale, and then I'm going to zero it out. This is going to ensure that the weight of the cup isn't incorporated into the weight of my water. And I'm going to be measuring out 2.1 ounces of water. Don't let the fact that this product is measured by weight intimidate you. It's really easy once you guys get the math down. And trust me, I am not a genius when it comes to math. So if I can get it, I know you can too. As you can see, I added my cup and then I zeroed out my scale. And I'm going to be measuring out 6.3 ounces of this eco resin powder. Let's just say, for example, the mold that you're going to be using requires 8 ounces to fill it. So what you're going to need to do is take the number 8 and divide it by 4. Because remember, this is a 3-to-1 ratio when you're mixing. So you're going to be measuring out 4 parts. So 8 divided by 4 gives you 2. So you're going to need 2 ounces of water. Then to figure out the amount of powder you will need, you're going to take the number 2 and multiply it by 3. That's going to give you 6. You are going to need 6 ounces of powder. So a 3-to-1 mix for an 8-ounce mold is going to require 2 ounces of water and 6 ounces of powder. As you can see, I'm adding my powder a little bit at a time to my water, making sure to stir thoroughly and scraping the sides to make sure I thoroughly incorporate the powder into the water. Once you're done mixing, you should have a nice, smooth, and not chunky consistency like this. I'm going to be using 2 colors for this pour, and so I'm adding half of this eco resin to another container. And I'm going to be using Couture's pure concentrated color pigments to color this eco resin. Remember to thoroughly shake your product before you begin. And as you can see, I added about 4 drops of the blue, and now I'm coming through and I added 2 drops of the jet black color. The nice thing about these concentrated pigments is they can be mixed together to create an endless array of color possibilities. These concentrated pigments are fantastic for coloring a variety of mediums, not just resin. They can be used to color paint, top coats, glazes, metallics, texture. They also can be used in glue and air dry clay. So many great uses for this one single product. Now that my custom blue color, it's just the way that I want it, I'm just going to use the jet black concentrated pigment to mix up a dark gray color. So altogether I used probably 11 drops of the concentrated pigments to create both of these colors. So this product really does go a long way. Then taking my 2 colors, I'm going to evenly pour them into the mold at the same time to achieve this half and half colored pour. And to remove any air bubbles, I'm simply just going to lift my mold up and tap the sides like so. The nice thing about this product is there is no heat gun required to remove any air bubbles. Another nice thing is it sets up fairly quickly. You can demold anywhere between 2 and 24 hours, and it's fully cured after 48. As you can see, I started to gently loosen the silicone molds from the side before I flipped it over to continue fully removing the silicone mold. And here's the design so far. I'm going to let this cure before we move on to the next step. After my EcoCast item has fully cured 48 hours later, I'm going to take a soft makeup brush and I'm going to be using it to dust off the excess mica powder that is left over. This is not only going to reveal all the texture pockets, but it's also going to reveal all of the beautiful crushed glass that we have embedded in this design. This process kind of reminds me of an archaeologist if they were meticulously digging for dinosaur bones or something like that. It's just as much as a surprise, and it's enjoyable for me to see all these gems and glitters exposed at the end. Just gorgeous. And my niece thought so too, because this is the tray she picked out for herself. The nice thing about this is that you can create so many different styles and colors, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you next. For this one, I'm going to be using Mayan Gold, then we're going to be using Pink Sapphire, and we'll be using both sheer and gold German glass glitter. And I'm just going to follow that same process as before to design this jewelry tray before we pour our eco resin. And if I've inspired you today to try any of these amazing Paint Couture products, please feel free to use my affiliate link. It is at no extra cost to you, but Paint Couture will give me a little extra thank you in return. So thank you for that support. As you can see, I didn't color my resin, but the perfect pigments really shine through, as well as that German glass glitter. And here is just one last design idea for you guys to be inspired by. Out of the three designs, this one with the mirror glass is probably my personal favorite. You guys will have to let me know your personal favorite down in the comments below. I'd love to hear. When your trays are all cured, you want to sand the bottom so that way they sit evenly on your surface. And I'm going to be wet sanding. Wet sanding is when you incorporate water into the sanding process. This is just going to reduce any dust particulates in the air, and it's going to create a nice smooth finish on these eco-cast resin pieces. To give depth to this design, as well as seal this porous eco resin and give it a high gloss finish, we are going to be using Paint Couture's pouring resin. Do not shake this product, but rather stir thoroughly before use. And this is a self-leveling acrylic resin medium that dries to an incredibly smooth and high gloss finish. Their pouring resin works well with their paints, their luxe metallics, their glass glitters, and their pigments, as well as their concentrated pigments. So I knew this product would work well to finish off this design. I added about a spoonful of this resin on top of my tray, and then using a gloved hand, I evenly spread it over my design. You can also use a silicone spreading tool, or you can pick up your jewelry tray to tilt the surface around to get your desired look. I'm also being sure to spread a thin amount on the rim and the sides. And if possible, cover your freshly coated resin surface to prevent any dust particles from getting in. And then allow to dry from 2 to 8 hours. And here is a close-up look at these unique eco resin trinket trays that we created using Paint Couture's pure concentrated pigments, their perfect pigment powders, German glass glitter, and pouring resin. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the Paint Couture YouTube channel. And I hope I've inspired you to try out some of these amazing Paint Couture products and create some resin art of your very own.